You mentioned you knew Puffy, so do you also know Caterqu or
Unfortunately, not. It's my first time seeing Caterqu in an event, but as you can see, Puffy has a very interesting array of Pokemon at his disposal here.
I'm gonna. That is some of the most anti-meta stuff I've seen in a hot minute.
For real.
Mega Manectric, I'm gonna guess? I mean,
Yeah, it's a Mega Manectric. Mega Manectric, Mega Lucario.
Mega Lucario. Again,
Hmm.
if you were to show this team to me and I was coaching, I'd just question, like, well, as long as you're comfortable using it, I think it's gonna be alright.
It's gonna be a-okay.
But
But it's
yeah,
interesting because if you look at the sets of Puffy's team here, a lot of it is just really swing face because you got Lucario on 3 stab moves and detect, Sarah Legend 3 stab moves and protect, Manectric on 3 stab and protect. A lot of it is really just swing face.
you know, sometimes all you need is a hammer. Caterqu, though, his team's fairly standard.
Hmm. And oh, as you can see, we've got the Whimsicott and the Lucario here. Funny enough, not running the beat up set that a lot of people know from back in the day during Sword and Shield, where you could beat up your justified Lucario to get a +4 attack boost.
Lucina, the Lucario here, probably gonna come out swinging, just gonna punch something straight up. But I don't think Caterhue is gonna make it easy for this Lucario here. Even if it manages to Mega Evolve, Sneasler is just so much faster. He's running the risk of getting punched out by that Sneasler. But yeah,
But we're gonna
Caterhue's...
see what happens here because the Dragon is going for its own Mega Evolution.
I imagine this Whimsicott is gonna wanna go for Tailwind. Yeah, and it does.
Eh,
Scotty the
like
Whimsicott.
clockwork. So what's the Lucario gonna be doing? And it's gonna be a Meteor Mash into the Sneasler, bringing it down to its Focus Sash. But it is worth noting though that Caterhue's Sneasler isn't on Unburden but rather on Poison Touch.
Poison Touch. It
It's an ability we
survived.
have not seen in a while.
I remember that, it took off a little at the end of Reg H, but wow, okay, Sneasler just punched through Mega Lucario, showing it, um, I know you're strong, you're Mega, but I have power creep on my side, so it just survives through the Meteor Mash because of its Focus Sash, punches back with close combat, takes out Lucario, and the Dragonite gets the Tailwind in. The speeds are relatively similar again, but this Ninetales on Puffy side of the field can easily threaten with the Blizzards. Sneasler, on the other hand, is now Tailwind boosted and Unburden boosted, so it can go for the Dire Claw, and it will most likely get the poison into the...
No, it's just gonna be the Encore into the
Yeah,
Dragonite slot. That swapped into that King Gambit, and that leaves Puffy's Ninetales to just go for the Blizzard here, getting finally securing that knockout onto the Sneasler.
and the freeze on the King Gambit, and yes, you switched out your Dragonite, and then the King Gambit was primed to fight back with an Iron Head into either of these fairies, but it gets frozen in the process. Now,
Unfortunately, that's just how RNG fares sometimes, and lo and behold, Caterqu's last mon is the Garchomp, which everybody knows it is 4 times weak to ice types.
right, and Blizzard is, well, it's right there. It's a click of a button. I don't think there's much thinking here. Puffy's whole team looks like it's just geared towards smacking the opponent over and over and over and over again. And I believe that is what Puffy is trying to do here. Blizzard coming in again. Yes, it'll be smacking through. This King Gambit is gonna have to wake up and break through this Ninetales, or its entire team is gonna suffer if it fails to wake up anytime soon. It's really gonna have to use Iron Head here, whereas Scotty might wanna break through the King Gambit. We know that the Sneasler had the Focus Sash, so okay, double protect. Garchomp
Okay,
succeeds with a double
Caterqu.
protect.
Caterqu hits a double protect, but that Moonblast is going right into the King Gambit slot, dealing a sizable amount of damage. And a second Moonblast is coming from that Ninetales and potentially finishing off, yes, this King Gambit.
Wow, that was... Well, Tailwind's gone from both sides, but the Whimsicott from Puffy side, well, you can just set it up all over again and Blizzard's gonna do Blizzard things again.
It's these two dragons are gonna be taking 4 times super effective damage from this Ninetales Blizzard. And no, apparently there's gonna be a Moonblast right into that Dragonite, getting rid of the multi-scale.
Right. Just enough for this Ninetales to take the game with another Blizzard.
Ninetales.
I'm genuinely impressed there.
That Ninetales just plowed through those dragons.
I mean, again, earlier I told you I'd be remiss to go, okay, what kind of team are you running? And going, oh, so you just want to run in there swinging, huh?
Sometimes the best strategy is to just go for it.
Oh, 100%. That was demonstrated perfectly right here. If you don't have to think about your moves, just attack. That's not the most hyper offense thing I'd tell you, and you know me, I love playing hyper offense, but normally I would instruct anyone, if you're gonna play hyper offense, your positioning needs to be good. And I think Puffy positioned themselves really nicely there. I just wasn't expecting, every Pokemon on their team was a hammer and everything on the opponent's team is a nail.
Well, that's kind of the beauty with Puffy's team building. You never really know what you're gonna get until you see his team sheet.
Now I'm interested. Very interested.
Well, Puffy has been known to do a lot of cooking with his team building, so this didn't come to much of a surprise.
Yeah. Oh, I got some questions here. Some people are DMing me. They're watching the stream. They want to chat it directly. Yes, midweek smoke happens on Wednesdays. Specifically, it happens every other Wednesday. So if we're looking at the calendar right now, the next one should be on the 17th, which is right when Champions Mobile releases. And M-B, so that's gonna be really funny.
Lol. New format, everybody. Day 1 format.
That's... Well, Caterqu seems to be having some issues here. Hasn't readied themselves. Just waiting for him, honestly. But yeah, everyone who's watching, the next midweek smoke should be up by the 17th. If people don't want to have a midweek smoke on the 17th to prepare for Regulation M-B and for mobile release, I am 100% okay delaying it a week to give everyone a chance to, mess with the regulation for a while. Also, I believe we will be releasing the Outbreak registrations by then, because we've been waiting for word on the Champions release for mobile as well as the regulation update. And we did get the regulation update not too long ago, but we needed confirmation for mobile release. And wow, we are gonna be expecting a lot of new players probably. So yeah, anyone
That's pretty
out there
exciting.
if you're coming to Outbreak next month, it's gonna be a big tournament. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's not gonna be as big and intense as PokeCon, but we do try to mimic the tournament experience as much as we can. And we hope that everyone can make it there. It's a little out of the way for a lot of our audiences who are in other regions, but if you have the time, do drop by Cebu, or if you're in the region. It's gonna be fun, and I hope everyone here can go. Or, especially you, Milan.
We'll have to see about that, Vince.
Are they having an issue here? Because they're not proceeding with the match. It says battling. Huh. Is this a bug? Did we encounter a bug on stream?
I am not sure. They're talking about it right now, though.
Right.
Apparently, it's a glitch. Apparently, it might be a glitch.
We encountered a glitch on stream. It's finally happened. A dream come true. I think they're having an issue.
Yeah, I think it might be a tech issue.
They're resetting. Okay, they're figuring it out.
In the meantime, back to what we were discussing earlier, Mega Raichu X and Y have some pretty interesting abilities. Oh, never mind. We're going right back into it
We'll
then.
be right back into it. I was about to discuss it with you too. Mega Raichu X gets the electric surge, but he's physical, so I have no idea how that's gonna work out.
But honestly, I don't even know how Caterqu is supposed to adjust this. Probably might want to leverage more of that Basque Legion. But even then, you're gonna be up against the likes. You might be up against the likes of Manectric. So actually, maybe it's the Sarina that you'd want to consider here.
I don't imagine bringing double dragons would be smart into this matchup, just because
Considering the amount of Fairy and Ice types, yeah, I could assume.
I mean, you could kind of leverage it a little with the King Gambit, but it's a single King Gambit, and it's extremely threatened by Lucario and Cerule Edge. And I don't think Puffy would want to bring the Gyarados either because of the King Gambit. Not like it has much use, and Manectric probably is very comfortable fighting into the King Gambit. But enough speculation, we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out in a few seconds here, as we're gonna see. Oh, it's just gonna be the Lucario and the Whimsicott again. And this time, adjustment from Caterqu going for the Sneasler and the King Gambit this time.
If it's not broken, why don't fix it, you know?
For real.
Well, the King Gambit is in a very good position to just do whatever it wants here. And Sneasler, we do know that it can just threaten the one-hit KO on the Lucario, on Lucina the Lucario. Scotty here, the little Whimsicott, might be able to do a lot of things, but Sneasler also threatens it with the Dire Claw. So it's all really a matter of what this King Gambit wants to do, because something's definitely going to go down this turn, but it's not going to be the King Gambit. King Gambit will be switched into the Basculegion. Scotty, the Whimsicott, will be going for the Tailwind, and I will imagine, yeah, the Lucario goes straight for the close combat into the Basculegion, or the King Gambit slot, which is now a Basculegion. And like I said earlier, Dire Claw threatens the one-hit KO on the Whimsicott as well. But the more interesting thing here is, yeah, I was about to say, the Lucario did not Mega Evolve on turn 1, meaning that might be reserved this game for the Manectric. Manectric, I imagine, would be very comfortable fighting into this Basculegion as well as this Sneasler, but Manectric's base stats still aren't all that great, and while he does threaten the Intimidate here as he Mega Evolves, I don't think King Gambit would mind getting a Defiant Boost though. Instead, Caterqu will be switching out the
into that Dragonite.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt going into the Sneasler. Does about half before it Megas, and the Meteor Mash just secures the knockout into the Sneasler, and you get the attack boost too for your troubles. So pretty good position for Puffy in this board state.
Something we have to note here though is the Lucario and the Manectric went before the Sneasler. A bulky Sneasler? Question?
Question mark?
I suppose not bulky enough since it went down. Unfortunate, but it does happen. Basculegion will be taking its place though. I think this Dragonite is probably going to want to Mega Evolve here. Not that it does all that much. It's just gonna be a little bit stronger, but a little bit stronger might be exactly what you need. And Puffy has made their choice here to Mega Evolve the Lucario, not the Manectric. With the threat of the Sneasler gone, I think this Lucario should be able to do a lot of things. Mega Evolution will also come out on Caterqu's side with the Dragonite. Meteor Mash hitting the Dragonite through the multi-scale. It just takes out nearly half of Dragonite's HP there.
And Thunderbolt will be going right into the Basculegion, but not enough to pick up the one-hit knockout, but it does get paralyzed for its troubles.
Air Slash.
As the Air Slash will be going right into Lucina the Lucario, not enough to pick up the KO as Wave Crash goes into the Manectric, picking up the KO.
I think it's a double KO there. Sacrificing itself to take out the Manectric. Not too bad, I'd say. But now we have to face the facts here. It's gonna be this Dragonite and the King Gambit versus the Lucario and the Of course, it's the Ninetales.
Of course, it's the Ninetales. Because why wouldn't Puffy be bringing that Ninetales?
I mean, a defensive option wouldn't be bad here. If the Lucario decides to go for a Detect and the Ninetales goes for Aurora Veil, that might be enough to subjugate enough damage from any Sucker Punch coming from the King Gambit into the Lucario. But at the same time, okay, he's just going straight for the Blizzard. What am I saying?
Right into the Dragonite. That Dragonite's not gonna appreciate the 4 times super effective Blizzard and goes right down to that Blizzard.
Yeah, even if Ironhead were to take out the Ninetales here, it brings it down to its Focus Sash. This was completely free.
This Lucario is just free to click close combat.
Will
And I think that
he...
will we see the sucker punch into the Lucario, because there's a world here where Crystal the King Gambit might be able to secure the two hit KO, but no, it's just gonna be the close combat right into that King Gambit.
The
Knocking it out.
Berry was consumed, digested, and not very useful in this regard, unfortunately, and that is a KO. I was actually expecting the Sucker Punch to come in, but no such thing happened on Caterqu's side, so he probably allowed his King Gambit to just go down there. It is what it is.